All right. Happy Monday rolling out. Happy Monday, YouTube. This is your host, Crystal Jordan, and we are back for a reality check. Now, you guys know it's cuffing season, so we usually talk to Ready to Love folks on Monday nights, but today we are talking to Ready to Love graduates who have made their way from Ready to Love, found love, and now they are on Love and Marriage. I love the progression. This is their first time officially here. Please help me welcome the very beautiful Joi and, of course, the very debonair Clifton.
Oh, hello.
Reality check.
God, the voice of God.
Yes. Clifton, that is when we first met you in Ready to Love there in DC. That voice had all the ladies caught up immediately. It was that voice. Absolutely.
I mean, I read bedtime stories, just I send my cash app. Take care of whoever wanted to hear it.
Well, first of all, congratulations. I know that you guys, I'm sure, know that Ready to Love has a huge fan base because I'm sure most of them, are constantly hitting you guys up. But one of the things that I hear, because I interview, couples and singles from Ready to Love, is so many people think, is it real? Does it work? Does it work? There's a lot of couples, many more that don't work than do. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying congratulations. And I think it has been good for the fans of Ready to Love to see that it actually can really work.
Well, the real legwork comes outside of TV, right? Yeah. You have to put that action. What you see on TV was definitely reality. However, the real legwork, the conversations, the getting to know each other, that takes time, but that was done off camera. Yeah. So that's where really the majority of the legwork was done.
That's where the real work
started.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and it never stopped.
No, it's probably still going on.
I mean, that's life, right? For any relationship, marriage, I know that it takes work for it to, for it to happen and make it, for longevity. So I know that's a never-ending process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do want to ask you, I don't start with you, Joi, because I think that we know that, you got to find somebody that you actually click with and actually are attracted to and then actually have chemistry with. But on the show, I always tell people, when people see each other and there's that instant connection, we saw you guys, you walked in there with that green dress. From that moment, even though there were some changes, it was obvious you guys both just clicked. It was like instant chemistry. Mm-hmm. Did you know? Was it different than seeing somebody out? Was this a different experience than both of you have had before?
Well, completely. I mean, the setup is completely different. I don't think I've ever been in a setting with a whole bunch of singles. Like,
okay.
It was hot with 98 something, maybe 102 degrees
and
outside.
I refused to wear a suit jacket. I was like, I'm not wearing that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go home.
But Clifton was the last man that I spoke to. You guys saw like the last conversation that we had. Our first conversation was probably about 35 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
And it was different because I'm hearing this person saying the things that I normally say. I didn't have to really like dig super, super deep immediately. He shared so much from the jump. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's why we never saw that. They're like, nope, it's too much. We don't give away the host.
Look, he made me laugh first. That's the thing for me. It was like an interview. He came in there having, he's chilling.
Yeah.
But he made me laugh first. And I was just like, and then the voice. I mean, he pretty much tell me to do anything. I'm like, yes.
I bet. Clifton, what about you? Because I think that, men can, women can make men laugh all day long. But if it don't look like what they want it to look like, it's not going to be that way. From what we saw, when you saw her, I just was like, that's it. Like you could tell the look. It looked like, how your pupils kind of dilate a little bit when it's like.
Mine did it too. They did.
They did.
Yeah, they dilated.
So what was it about Joi besides the green dress? Carmen says a green dress. What was it about Joi that was it her energy? Tell us what it was about her that made you look like that. And then automatically, after you got to the conversation, but what was it about it when you first saw her that made you think, wow?
So when I first saw her, she was occupied, right? They were sending guys to her and they were sending the girls, to me. So they really kept us apart. So finally we had a break from, I think, probably being out there for maybe, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, right? And she walks up beside me and says, we haven't talked yet. And I was like, you're right, we haven't. And she was like, we'll make that happen, right?
I said, well, let's make that happen. I did not.
She said, make that happen. I was like, I like that. I was like, you damn right I will. So then as soon as we came back from the break, I was like, get your ass over here. And we had a conversation. And I mean, it didn't feel like a job interview, right? So like we were real natural, it was genuine. Not to say that everyone that I met there felt like a job interview, but sometimes you have that natural energy and it was organic, and that's what it was. I was so
nice.
Put a price tag on it. Cha-ching.
It's priceless.
So you guys went through the process and you left together. Now, a lot of couples leave together, and after the show and the cameras wrap, it's like it fizzles out. I even believe that some of them make us think they're together longer than it is, just because they don't want to come back and say, because people are checking your Instagram, checking the feed, trying to see what's out.
Who you getting at?
I'm not, we're not going to say names right now. We're just talking about a happy love story. I want to know how difficult it was once the cameras wrapped, once people went home, it's no longer production. What was that adjustment like? Because so few people, in fact, so few couples make it past the end of production. How were you guys able to do that? And what was that transition like?
So immediately we were in a long distance relationship. She left probably a week after the show and went to Mexico. So in order for us to make it work, I had to, step up. So I was visiting her in Mexico every other weekend I was there. I mean, my frequent flyer miles are like this, right? You hear me? So like I had to show her what I wanted, and then I put my best foot forward and it worked out. So what I can say is that it's real tough having a long distance relationship. I do know that.
Yeah.
And it's also tough probably when you're seeing someone every day and you get comfortable, right? So you have to find that happy medium. And that's my only recommendation is when you're with someone, you got to keep on, you got to keep date night. You still date them. You just don't get comfortable in your skin and say, well, she's here or he's here. And it's just, that's what it is. But you have to actually romance the stone.
Right.
Yeah. Joy, were you ever worried that connection could have just been because of the hype of everything? Did you ever worry, like, is he really gonna? Okay, you did not.
No. From the jump, I mean, I think we're a pretty good judge of character when it comes to like our heart space, and there wasn't like a doubt in my mind. The way we communicate. I mean, the one thing, when I was in Mexico, the one thing he said was, I want to be the first person you call in the morning and the last person you talk to before you go to sleep. And like, we did that like the entire time. So there is never not a day that I had not spoken to him.
Okay.
We talk every day. But that's how it was since we met.
Yep.
So we've never missed a day of talking to one another.
Because if you missed a day, you was in trouble, Jack.
You too.
He said she was in trouble. What was it about this? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm fascinated because this so often people like TV gets in people's head, right? And they, production was doing this, and production may be suggesting you be a little bit more romantic than you naturally are, and it's a little bit different when you go back to real life. What were you guys able to establish that sets you so far apart? Because trust me, every couple signing up for that show is hoping for what you guys have, at least the external. I don't know if everybody's 100% genuine, but they definitely want the look of what you guys have, like that relationship goals. This is what it's supposed to look like. How did you find it? What made this different?
Well, I think the focus really, for me, I knew coming on the show that if my person wasn't there, I wasn't going to try to make something happen. Like, I would rather leave knowing that my person wasn't there than, the opposite. Right. So I think that's the thing for us. We had these goals, but also you have to come in this situation actually really ready.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, this is an opportunity. Like you genuinely have to go into this mentally ready, because it's not just, the men, it's the women that are there as well. And I mean, how often do you date in such close confines of other people?
Right. Not never. Not never. Not never. Clifton, what about for you? Because I think a lot of times we don't see men actually willing to be vulnerable, right? And actually willing to, like, most of the time when I interview the guys, they're like, I was like, if something happens, cool. But they aren't really taking it like, I'm not thinking I'm really going to find the love of my life on a TV show.
So for me, I came there a little opposite than she did. So I came to, and this is completely honest, I didn't necessarily come to meet the love of my life, right? I came to meet people, right?
Right.
And if it were to happen, it would happen. And when I got there the first day, I'm like, oh shit, it's happening, and it was no turning back after that. So once I felt like we had that chemistry and that bond, I was able to be a more vulnerable person, because you just don't wake up and say, I'm going to be vulnerable with this person I just met yesterday.
Right.
That's just really not how really
realistic. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you have to have that person that you're on the same page with and you're feeling it, because if you're not, you don't want to be vulnerable, because at the end of the day, your feelings might get hurt just for being vulnerable and the other person isn't. So you got to be on the same page.
Yeah. Let's talk about being ready, because we saw in the episode of Love and Marriage DC, Joi, you're talking to women, because I'm sure people want to talk to you because they want to know, what did you do? How did you achieve this? So what do you think was the key for you in really being ready in your life? Not necessarily with Clifton, but just for you as a woman who was accomplished, had her own career. What was it about this time in your life that made you ready to love?
The one thing that I shared with the single moms was, and mind you, there are other people in this room as well, so it's kind of a broad spectrum. But one thing I shared was, that word, it's a real small word, right? Like we say it, but we don't use it enough. And it's the word no. Being able to say no, mean no, like, no, I don't accept this. No, I don't want this. Right. In putting yourself, that self-care, like in order for you to give to others, you have to be right. You have to be okay. But a lot of times that comes from not trying to be everything to someone else. Right. So that word, no, I think it's a freeing word. And once you start doing it, you start realizing like all of these blessings that I've been blocking or pushing to the side, like really just start opening up, because then now I'm able to say it. And it is about saying what it is that you want. I want this. I want great communication with my partner. I want someone who sees me. I want to be better each day. Like, we have to say those things. Closed mouths don't get fed. So once you put that out there, it's a freeing thing. That's what I said.
Yeah. that goes for anybody. What
exactly?
how difficult was it for you, if at all? Because with your career, I would assume that career could be intimidating to a man that would be into you, just because you do have the ability to be here in Mexico and then off someplace else singing. Amazing career. You are obviously chasing your passion, but how difficult has it been, or is it difficult for you to say, okay, let me try to figure out how to make love a priority, make Clifton a priority, and still chase this career that I've been blessed to be able to have?
Well, the first part of, the career, he is priority. I wouldn't have moved back home. I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have stayed here. Now, for anything else, as far as my journey in kind of re-navigating, girl, you're going to have to stay tuned every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So on Love and Marriage DC, we're getting a chance to see you guys settle, right? We've seen the excitement, the proposal. Very smooth Clifton doing that on television as well.
Come on, brother.
Very smooth, very smooth. I was like, that was awesome. And just because it allowed the public to have a chance to experienced that too. So we're getting a chance to see you guys.
Shout out to Carmen for helping to put that together as well.
Nice. That was very nice.
Yeah.
Clifton, just because people are asking what made Joi different, how did you know the time was right? And how did Carmen help you kind of put that together? And then we'll get into Love and Marriage DC.
How did I know the time was right to propose?
Yes.
So actually I had been planning it for some time. Now this had been a year. This date was sentimental. Okay. So this was a date a year from when we met. So okay. If anyone knows me, I'm a hopeless romantic, but I won't tell a lot of people, but I really am. So like certain things mean a lot to me. Mm-hmm. So the date was coming, right? And I knew I wanted to plan it this way. So I ended up talking to Carmen and she helped me set it up. And she had no idea because she thought we were just going on there to talk, for lunch line.
So it was a recap.
And it was a recap.
I put a whole slideshow together. I was just like, ooh.
There was a recap. She just didn't know at the end of the She didn't know what was coming next. So nice. I felt that was the perfect time to do it. She didn't expect it, she had no idea. And here we are.
Knocked the ring out the rose.
Yeah, you can't even rehearse that. I had the ring in the rose the whole time, and I'm just hoping that she looks down at it and she just give me the rose, and there it goes across the floor. So.
That's special. Those are the things that make the memory special.
Yeah.
So you do that. We definitely a beautiful proposal. But what made you guys decide to go back on television? Because I would assume that you all got away. You shared some stuff with us, but for the most part, your relationship, you guys aren't, at least from what I've seen, it's not a lot of like oversharing, right? So there is a lot that you guys keep between the two of you. Mm-hmm. How did you make the decision to go ahead and go back on television and share this process of becoming a married couple and adapting and all that? How did you all come to this conclusion to accept Carlos's proposal to be on this show?
Ooh, that pause.
I
thought it froze. I thought it froze. Okay.
So, and to be honest, we were pitched. We were pitched by the Tylers, and we were pitched by Ashley. Okay. So we didn't technically we didn't reach out like, oh, we want to be on the show.
Right.
We pitched. When an opportunity, as far as like us discussing it being a decision, we talked.
Okay.
It wasn't just like, oh yeah, we jumping right in. Mm-hmm. We talked as far as like, how strong is our foundation? Are we able to handle this? When it comes to communication, as far as, there are things that, we do keep, to ourselves because it's for us.
Yeah.
But we just had to make sure. We had to literally see, like, are we strong enough to do this?
Yeah. Clifton, were you on board from the jump? How did you feel about it?
Well, I've known Jamie for some time, so we've actually, reconnected. We're friends. So it was an easy decision to make because they're already in it, mm-hmm. right? So it wasn't, thinking that we had to think on it for weeks. So, we just thought it was a great opportunity to kind of share something different to what they already have because, they've been together on the show. Jamie and Marina have been married over 27 years. Yeah. I don't know how long Quick and Ashley have been married, but I know it's some time. So we thought, I'm looking at like, we'll bring new love to the show. It's called Love and Marriage. So you would think that, you want to have the new love in it, but you have to wait until Saturday night to see what else happens.
But then for those, who watched our start, out before and Ready to Love, it's like now you kind of get to see the after.
Yeah. No, I think it was
a little bit of drama and holy water and all that stuff. But yeah.
So them actually really settling in and becoming a couple and then getting married. I have to say, I watched the first season, have watched also Love and Marriage Huntsville. Some of the couples on Love and Marriage Huntsville and even on the first season of Love and Marriage DC, we've seen some trouble, right? So there's been, even though, definitely Irena and Jamie have been together a long time. I know that Quick and Ashley have been together. I believe it's near 20 years as well. Monique and Chris,
like 15,
went through some issues, publicly. And that was a big part of the social media conversation. Were you all concerned at all about sharing too much, or the TV and the production and the idea of reality TV affecting your marriage? Because like I said, some of the other marriages, be it Real Housewives or Love and Marriage franchise, Bell Collective, it's difficult on relationships to share with the public. And sometimes, things happen and people are able to intercede. So were you all concerned at all, or did you decide, okay, let's go into it with this mindset, or is it just kind of like we're going to be good?
So my thing was going into it is communication, so that way I'm not thinking that she's saying one thing when she's on her interviews or out hanging out with the ladies, and I learn something opposite later. Like, well, where did that come from? We talk about our exchanges.
Okay.
So I believe that helps a lot. Not knowing how it's going to be shown to the viewers later, but just so we're on the same page, right? As opposed to like, she's going out here and we had a bad day and she's bad mouthing me on the show and I didn't know anything about it. And then, I didn't get a chance to bad mouth her back. You know what I mean? So I need to know these things.
Well, look, I actually said, no, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
I had to get mine in. I got to go back and do my confessional over again.
I went to bed early tonight.
Well, that's interesting, because I think a lot of times couples, it's real life and life is hard. But I hate seeing some of the scenes last season with Monique and Chris were hard to watch, but they were also just real life, and the same thing for Love and Marriage Huntsville. One marriage completely broken, but that was happening before the show, but still seeing it, is difficult. I want to pivot a little bit because Saturday's episode was great. I told Carlos I don't think he missed a beat with adding you guys to the fray, and then the other couples really stepped it up, because I think people were wondering, like, how is this going to work without Monique and Chris? But it was a great episode, and it really focused a lot on family. We know that you guys are a blended family, because Clifton, you have 2 boys, and now Joi is a bonus mom. So one of the big themes of Saturday's show was fathers and sons, right? And so we got a chance to see Quick talking with Ashley about, babying their son, and and then we of course see there's issues, and the way maybe Jamie and Arena deal with the issues with their boys are different. I want to ask you, from a man's perspective, Clifton, when you saw the scene with Quick and Ashley talking about their son who's 14 and saying, you shouldn't have to wake him up in the morning, and he should be acting like a man, and she's like, that's a baby. Do you think there's a difference between the way men and women view parenting, and where do you kind of fall in and kind of weighing in on that decision? Do you think a 14-year-old boy should be, do you think that you treat him like a man, or do you feel like there's more parenting and nurturing that has to happen?
Well, I think as a man, we are more harder on our sons based on our experience in life, right? So I know that, I guess in society, we look at women as a more nurturing person as compared to a man, right? But I feel that it's not that, we try to teach our kids tough love, but we just want to know that there's a reality to certain things. Yeah. And the way that I was raised, it was the same thing. If I was 14, I should, you need to get up. You need to have your own alarm clock. You need to get up when your alarm clock goes off. So I understand, both sides, and I understand the mother's nurturing point too. So, that's just, it's balance. You have to have the balance between the two.
Yeah, it's definitely balance. I think that was good to see, because I think sometimes men and women, we approach it differently.
Absolutely.
I talked to Carlos about just entitlement and how most of us grew up, especially African Americans, most of us grew up with less than what we have now. So we spoil our children, or we make sure that they have more. How do you feel as far as children, and do you think that a lot of times we spoil them too much and we don't give them that work ethic that a lot of our generation has? Or do you think that's just a part of the blessing that you get when you're able to do better, so you're able to give, your children more?
Is that for me? So,
yeah.
All right. It's like you got some kids I don't know about. So, for me, I think that with fathers and boys, again, we're a little more hardcore. But if I had a daughter, she would probably have me eating out of her hand, because I feel like they had, what is it called? Like they're mama's boys and daddy's girls, right? Yeah. So I really believe in that, and I think that girls could always have their way with their dad. Like if
wrapped around the finger.
The 14-year-old girl telling her dad, like, Dad, I don't want to, I want to sleep till when I wake up. He's probably going to be like, okay, you know what I mean? And I understand it because I feel like I would probably do the same thing. And I know that as a dad, and I have a younger son.
Yeah.
And I'm older in life now. So like when I had my first son, I was still kind of out and having fun, enjoying life. So I'm more settled now, and I see the things that are more of a necessity in life when raising a child. Not to say I didn't have that before, but I'm more, not even going to say loving, but I'm more present.
Yeah.
As opposed to, because I've been married twice, so then I wasn't around 100% both times, because we had to split the time.
Yeah. Joi, how has it been coming in as a bonus mom? Because you got a teenager and then you also have a little one. He's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about just that adjustment and coming on and feeling those shoes after not having any children of your own.
Well, I mean, they're still big shoes to fill. I'm definitely still adjusting, but it's something that, I'm like, all right, bring it on. But I mean, I actually do enjoy, I like the dynamic. I like, he's 18 now.
Yes, he'll be 19 next week.
Yes.
Wow. So
right. So 18, 4.
That's a huge.
Yeah.
So he wants you to experience the teenage and then also.
Right.
Yeah. And so my oldest is in college now. So that's a huge thing for me. So watching them. So this happened in the same week. I dropped my son off at campus. And the following week, my 4-year-old started pre-K. I was kind of in my feelings. So I'm like, they're leaving me. Like I was just having them in my house together at one time. And man, it hit me hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. That is a big spread.
Yeah.
Are you guys open? Are we expecting, should we be looking for little Clifton and Joys anytime soon? Are we doing it again, Clifton?
I mean, we've been working on it.
Okay.
Working.
That's good. I like that. So Clifton is open. The store is still open. And Joi, you're open. Is that something when you went to Ready to Love, was having children something that you were open, or is that something that you thought about? Where were you at in that process? And has that changed after falling in love with Clifton?
Well, it hasn't changed. It's just you always want to make sure that, you're bringing that bundle in with love, and it's not many people that you want to sit there and say, you know what, I want to have a baby with you.
That's true.
This man right here, I mean, he loves children. Like, I mean, just seeing the way that he loves his 2 boys. And I'm like, I'm ready.
We saw how ready you guys were on
ready to love, ready to baby, ready to practice.
These 2 are definitely ready. If nothing else, they are ready. So are we going to see, I know you guys are going to tell us to watch on Saturdays at 8. They have their talking points down. But are we going to see the wedding? Are we, where are we at right now with the planning? What can we look forward to?
What you talking about?
Huh?
You know what?
The bad connection.
You know what? We're on the same page. Come on, y'all. Let us know. Okay, what can we look forward to seeing this season from Clifton and Joi? You know what? I will give it to y'all. Y'all are on the same page. You guys.
I can't control. He knows. My eye was about to
about to blank.
I was like, you know what? I know they're playing, but wait a minute, are they? Come on, give us something. What will we see? What will we have a chance to see you guys go through this?
You will have a chance to see
us have fun. Showing our new love. And exploring it through our friendships.
And then we'll see what happens with those friendships.
Okay. All right. What about the new house? How has this been? How's this process been going? I like the fact that you guys decided to do something together. And are you guys settled in the new house? Do you agree? Who's decorating? What's happening with the new home?
Okay.
It's a joint
effort.
and it's slowly progressing.
Yes.
But what happens is we kind of get lost in the moment because when we wake up, literally the water is
Out our
10
window.
steps from the window.
Oh wow.
So we're literally on an island, it looks like. So you can, as soon as we wake up in the morning, the water's there, the birds are chirping like crazy. I'm like, shut the hell up. It'd be a lot. But the birds, what else do we? Anything in nature, the
We
eagles.
have everything.
Right.
Yeah, we have bald eagles,
Fox.
deer, fox.
It's everything out here. Yeah. But the most important thing that we wake up to is the sun rising with hitting on the water. I love it.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Very peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So BG says, is this your permanent home? Do you guys see yourselves being there permanently, or
one of them?
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Clifford, what's happening with the beard oil and the well,
hold on, let me get a look. Can you see it? See that glistening?
It looks so luxurious.
Oh, what's happening? The beard oil is happening. It's happened.
It's happened. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're gonna.
So I created originally when we did Ready to Love.
Yes.
So I plan for it to be out pretty soon.
Okay.
For everyone else to, smell like me a little bit.
And it's not just a beard oil, like it's like multi-purpose. Like women, you can put it on your skin, your hair, like
Nice. Nice. That is one of the things that Clifford got a lot of attention. The voice and the beard. The beard. What advice? I got to go back to the Ready to Love couples, because I think a lot of people, especially with the own audience, there are so many people that want to find love, so many people that are encouraged, even people that watch Love and Marriage DC, because of the comments. We know people really love seeing Black couples and Black love in real time. So what advice would you have to people that may be out there, especially of a particular age, especially people that have gone through divorce? I know for myself, I went through divorce and I did not think I was going to find love again at all. I just did not assume. And when it did, I was like, wow, it just, because you just don't think, especially after you've had a marriage that didn't work, you just, I'm not going to feel butterflies again. So what advice would you give people that are out there, maybe in their mid 30s to 40s, that just don't believe that love can happen for them? What advice would you give them from your experience?
Run. Okay.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Because I've been married twice, right? And divorced. So I said to myself, I will never do this again.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And you meet someone and she changes your whole life.
Oh. So I can't take it. Crystal, is Clifton. Okay, Clifton.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynette. We really appreciate
it. All right, so keep hope alive. I do. So Clifton, did you ever feel did it ever bother you that you had been divorced twice? Was that ever something that you felt was like a check on your past that would hinder someone else from giving you a chance?
Oh yeah, because believe it or not, in both of those situations, I was the common denominator, right? So you have to hold some level of accountability, right? Because I don't just go into a situation and just happen to make it work or make it end. Like it takes two, right? Mm-hmm. So I know that I was, partially responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that taking accountability and then learning. What would you say you've learned from your previous relationship before you met Joi that made you ready for her?
So I know that I'm a tit for tat person. If you do something to me, I'm going to probably do something back. And
a little petty.
It's a work I'm a work in progress, because it's hard because I've been raised that way. My father told me if somebody punches you, better punch them back, right? So that's stuck with me my entire life. So, and that goes with me in situations that I'm in. So if someone does something to me where I feel like it's personal, right? Then I'm probably gonna do something personal back.
No, he is.
Yeah.
And that's the sad. And I'll think about it first. I'm like, why am I this way? And I'm like, you know what? This is how I felt. I feel like they should feel the same way.
And you've learned that in marriage, you can't do that.
In relationships, period. You can't do that.
you can do it, but it's not gonna. The outcome or the result won't be what you want it to be. So that part, I'll try to take give myself a deep breath, and I try to communicate it before I actually do something. Right.
Mm-hmm. So Joi, did it bother you at all that he had been divorced twice?
No, not at all. I mean, over 40, people have a whole bunch of life that happened way before you. So it wasn't anything that I was surprised about. I think what may have been a flag would have been if the marriage and divorces were so close together.
Right.
It's such a huge gap. It's something where he's not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
He's 18-year difference. That's a lot of growth there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. People are saying that Joi is going to clash with Ashley, and we see it's going to happen. We saw a little bit of sisterhood, not feeling sister-ish. But I feel like they had to have a first episode that welcomed us in. That conversation
welcomed us in.
Came for you on the single mom thing,
right?
But I feel like if they asked you to speak, and you were a single woman, just even if you didn't have children, but if single moms wanted you to speak, they want to hear what you have to say.
First of all, there are men there too. There were speakers, so I mean,
oh wow, okay,
they're married. So there's a diverse group of people who are invited to speak. All are not single moms. I think it isn't about who you are. It is about your message. I think we all have something that we can bring to the table.
Right.
When asked, of course, like Sharon Page, first thing I said, I was like, I don't have any kids, right? She was like, I know, but it's something about the ready to love aspect of it that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's something where I'm humbled, I'm grateful for the opportunity. And again, it's one of those, all I can say is thank you. Like, thank you, being able to share in this type of environment, because it's a community thing. I think the issue that I've been getting some very interesting opinions. However, I am just grateful that opportunity, was there, and I was able to share something. I could bring something to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kick me out.
Well, they asked you. I'm assuming you didn't invite yourself to their panel. So I was like, if they ask her to come, I think Ready to Love is a show that a lot of people watch that are at a different age. Like usually we see people in their early 20s. So I think you have women that have experiences, and so they ask you to do it. But some stuff is it's good for TV. That was a good little moment. We saw Clifton looking very protective of you in that moment.
As he should. That's what the king does.
We know y'all don't play about each other. We have learned that from Ready to Love, and now these two do not play. Well, we appreciate you guys dropping by, and definitely we'll stay tuned. I think Carlos did a great thing because, like I said, I know that a lot of people were saying with the anchor couple being, that show felt like it was very much around Chris and Monique. And so I think the genius of Carlos King is to bring in a couple that people want to see. They want to see what it looks like. They want to see the reality of it and be able to, keep up with it. So bring you guys over from Ready to Love. Genius. And I'm looking forward to see what happens. I want to know when the wedding is happening, but it looks like you guys are going to go back out on static. So we'll just keep watching. We'll keep watching and have you come back and share with us when that process, because I'm sure that's something the viewers that's the next thing we want to see. We want to see the preparation. We want to see we want to see, but we'll wait. We're
frozen again.
Well, we just want to say, thank you so much. We truly appreciate it, because we thought you was going to give us some hard questions.
Oh, well, no. No, I think that's weird. People, not hard questions. I think I ask questions that people on this channel want to. This channel service is rolling out, which is a Black media outlet, and we like celebrating Black love. So we ask questions that the people want to have. We don't try to be messy. If there's something to ask, we'll ask, but it's not overly messy. We've been supporting you guys from the beginning, so I'm glad we got a chance to have you guys come on, and glad to see you guys on Love and Marriage DC. So like I said, we'll stay tuned.
Oh, I don't bite my tongue, S. Freeman 417.
What did she say?
Oh, I was ready. I don't bite my tongue. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we don't a lot of people wanted to ask about the previous, but I don't think that's not the important part right now. Right now, like Love and Ready to Love is over with. That's behind you guys. You guys obviously are not, a lot of people do that show for clout. It's clear. We don't have to say names. It's clear the couples that work, the couples that don't, the people that are strategic and trying to get to where they get, it all comes out in the wash. So at this point, it's clear that you guys were really that couple, and you stood the test of time, the love, we can feel it. So we want to celebrate that. No sense in drudging up old stuff and talking about it. So we love it. We love it.
But we love you.
Absolutely. Well, you guys got to come back when you're ready to talk and not freeze up about this wedding.
Well, you need to let us get a little further in some episodes, and then
we'll be watching. We'll be watching. We'll reach back out. We'll definitely be watching. But I just want to say that it's so good to see something actually work. You guys have no idea how many people get inspired and actually believe in love for the second time when they see that happen, especially after divorce, especially after having children. Life can be difficult. So when you see somebody find their butterflies and find that special person, it inspires everybody. So we appreciate you guys letting us watch and be a part of that, your love story. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. Well, you guys have a good night, and we will see you Saturday at 8 on OWN.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. I think they are so cute. We definitely have to stay tuned. I want to know what's happening with the wedding planning, but I have a feeling that we'll be able to reach out to Carlos and get him to come back and talk about it when they're ready to talk about it. Up until then, we'll keep watching every Saturday. The next couple that we have on, we're going to have Ashley and Silva on, and we'll be able to talk to them a little bit more about their parenting. I love the fact that this show actually talks about that because, as a parent myself, teenagers can be difficult. And I think there's a reason that there is a mother's input and a father. That balance is so necessary. And so I look forward to talking to them. You guys, I'll be back later this week with more Reality Check. This is your host, Crystal Jordan. Please make sure that you like and share this broadcast, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you.
You so